Welcome back to the SMT YouTube channel. Got big news for you guys here today. It looks like Verizon is indeed doubling down on their fiber investment. And actually, we kind of thought this should have happened sooner. And I'm going to explain what I mean by this. All right, so here's the news, and then I'll give you guys kind of my take on it. All right, the news here is Verizon has struck a deal, a wholesale deal, with Tillman-owned Eaton Fiber. Eaton is going to basically build a fiber network where Verizon will get exclusive fiber service rights for a certain amount of time. And I think that's the only reason why Verizon agreed to do this was on those terms. The basic concept of this is outside of Verizon's existing FiOS footprint, this gives them the ability to sell on a wholesale agreement, access on a fiber network. So basically they'll sell it as FiOS. They'll be the customer-facing company, the billing, the marketing, the advertisement, the sales, all of that stuff is going to be done by Verizon. The building of the fiber, the managing of the fiber, the operations of the fiber, all that is going to be Tillman. For those of you that have heard of Tillman Fiber Company or Tillman Global, this is indeed the same Tillman that gives T-Mobile access in the lovely state of Florida for fiber as well. So these kind of fiber agreements have been in place now. Originally, we saw a lot of this activity from T-Mobile and then AT&T with Gigapower. So those two companies have been doing this. We were kind of waiting to see if Verizon was going to get involved with something like this, and they have. And they're doing so, I think, strategically. Now, it doesn't mean that Verizon is done buying fiber providers. They bought Frontier, which is huge, and they'll be upgrading a lot of that copper to fiber as well. But this gets Verizon in the door for more folks. Guys, there is no better service than fiber. As great as things have been for Verizon with 5G home internet, the truth is the fiber customer is the stickiest and the highest paying, right? When you look at the ARPU and the ARPA and all those kind of metrics. Verizon, I think, plans to reach 40 million fiber locations through their native build, including Frontier Communications as the acquisition. And of course, they still have 5G home internet. So you think about this. I think what Verizon is doing here, because they know that fiber is the pinnacle peak connection, first, to build the fiber in a place has a huge advantage because nobody can offer a better connection. And the customer, as long as it's quality and it's reliable, they're not leaving. And then you're going to have them on wireless too. Like, this is where one hand washes the other. Now, Verizon just, they've invested in mmWave for home broadband. They've invested into Starry for fixed wireless. They got their fixed wireless piece through C-band. They've got FiOS. Now they got Frontier. And now they have this. And things seem to be kind of trending up. I think this is just, Verizon trying to maybe reach more fiber passings. Again, one hand washing the other, the convergence piece. They know AT&T is headed for 60 million fiber passings. They're currently slated for 40 million. This may give them a few additional million. And if it's really successful and Tillman continues to build, and maybe it is through that kind of like exclusive rights, I see this as really like a necessity if you think about it. Because T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T are all kind of racing, aren't they? Racing to get the most, racing to get the most customers, the highest paying customers, the best customers. And now I think with Verizon's new leadership, a new CEO, maybe it's his direction on how this whole Frontier thing, this Tillman fiber thing, any type of JVs or investments moving forward, maybe this is all him. Maybe this has been him. Maybe he's been working behind the scenes. I have no idea how that all went. I do know that Hans is a big network guy, and as he leaves the company, he leaves it in a position with assets. But now I think it's time to kind of look at it strategically. Like, yeah, we want more assets, but you also need good ones. You don't just get them to get them. You get good assets. Think about what AT&T did with Lumen. Right? Think about what they're doing with Gigapower. T-Mobile with Metronet and Lumos. Everything's very strategic, but I wouldn't count on Verizon to be done here. I think they would continue to explore these opportunities, things that make sense. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty solid. Pretty solid. I don't know what the reach is, but it's definitely going to be out of FiOS markets. But let me know if you guys would buy Verizon FiOS in a market where Verizon doesn't typically have FiOS, right? Because that's what this is. And something tells me these are going to be places where Verizon's brand can be leveraged. Places where they have high wireless share, where they can easily converge the customer. Let me know what you guys think. Drop me some comments. Like, share, subscribe. Check out some more videos. We'll see you guys soon on the next one.